Oh, sorry, Adam.
We're live.
Hey.
What's up, you guys? All right, you guys. We are here with some of my favorite YouTubers. Thank you for waiting. First of all, thank you so much for waiting. I'm running on CP time today. So thank you so much for waiting. But I'm here with some of my favorite YouTubers. What's up, Tisa Tales?
Hey, what's up, Miss Bravo Network? How are you?
I'm doing great, Miss Shade Room. What's up, Grace Report?
Nothing. I'm loving your robe, Miss Thang.
I'm doing the Versace robe.
That's right. That's Dennis's Versace robe.
Layla's got Dennis money.
Hi, Layla. You always look so pretty. Like with the, and I'm guilty I feel like I'm not on social media a lot, but I love checking out your photos and like when you have like a full look, and I always see, and I think it's around your house, and I'm like, you can always tell by somebody's house too, and on the inside and how they decorate. And I really like your vibe. That's all. So I've been watching you, and I just wanted to clear my name and say that.
Thank you. I appreciate that. I appreciate that a lot. So what are you guys' first thoughts on the episode last night? Before we get into, the little flirting between Lauren and Dennis, what are you guys' first thoughts on the episode?
I feel like Porsha keeps playing herself with every episode. Like, I'm just cringing so much at all of the red flags that she's exhibiting in her obsession with Dennis and what he's got going on while she's supposedly engaged, basically.
Yeah, supposedly. Because I don't think she's going to marry Dennis. So I'm with you on supposedly. But Tisa, what do you think?
Honestly, I'm in love with this show. It is such a mess, and I can't stop watching. The only thing is, Dennis is the star of the show. He comes on, and the scene just lights up. Literally, Dennis needs to get his own spinoff. Porsha and Simon, it's interesting. Simon, like I said, fades to the background. Porsha's family is fine, but you can tell they're newbies. And even without Porsha, I would see Dennis. I'm actually shocked at how lovable, not just comical, he's making this show. I love it.
Yeah.
I agree with that. And I also like her cousin Londi. I feel like she's a good fit for reality TV. And I like the dynamics, and I know we're going to get into it. If I were in Porsha's situation, especially in this episode, and I found out, I don't care if you're my assistant, a family member, I don't care who you are, but if I know and I find out that you're going behind my back and taking stuff out of my house, we're probably going to have a big problem. And I thought about this earlier. I was like, if Jason and I, God forbid, broke up, I wouldn't care if you want your robe back, but would I care if your brother came over and said, hey, Adam, I just want to check in on you, see how you're doing, and then went behind me and stole it out of my house? Yeah, we would have a problem.
Fair enough.
I thought that was a really Go on, Layla. I'm sorry.
No, I just feel like, I don't know if I call it stealing if it's not mine. If it belongs to the person and they're returning it to the person, I'm okay with that. And I feel like Porsha wasn't because of her feelings for Dennis. You know what I mean? She still loves Dennis. She's probably like sniffing the robe, like
it wasn't put away. That's how you know.
Like chair.
It was on her chair. She uses
sniffing the robe that smells like hot dogs.
Them hot dogs is making money now.
I honestly think that scene was I think it was staged to the point that Porsha found out about it sooner than she let on. And I feel like, to you guys' point, she has a lot of anger toward Dennis, and she was just looking for an outlet to get it out, where you're arguing over a robe. And to Layla's point, I agree. Dennis is like family. So that's like you having your cousin's robe and then your sister coming and taking it to give to your cousin. It's like, how mad can you get? It's not mine. We're all family. And you gave the robe back. I didn't understand that.
Mm-hmm. Go ahead.
I mean, I agree with you too, Layla, that I feel like, there's a deeper meaning and a bigger reason why Porsha would have been upset about this. I still, at the end of the day, I understand it's somebody else's article of clothing. So yes, by all means, you want it back. But I would still be annoyed if I had my family members creeping around and taking stuff out of my house. Even if it wasn't I don't know, that's just me. But for Porsha too, I think she's more invested in the sentimental value of having that in her house and knowing that's one of the last pieces of Dennis, aside from their, beautiful daughter. That would be taken out.
Yeah. Right. One of the last pieces. Again, do you guys really think, because I'm starting to think the way she started that argument at the table with Simon, do you guys think Porsha really wants Dennis back? Or do you think she wants Dennis to suffer for every single time he humiliated her? And now it's his turn to sit there and watch her be happy and in love. And Portia's mad that Dennis won't sit there quietly like it's a movie and watch her be in love, that he's throwing monkey wrenches into it.
You got to watch him too. And we got to that in the episode where he invited somebody too. But I want to talk about this. Speaking about family, there was a lot of conversation online about the chemistry between Lauren and Dennis. Like this person who posted, anyone else feeling a little chemistry between Dennis and Lawrence? That's the same throw that Kenya Apollo Phaedra had written all over it.
The Kenya Apollo thing is killing me.
I think that he knows too, though. I feel like Dennis knows what he's doing, and he knows one, like I feel like he looks at Lauren like baby sister, but this is like my way where I can get inside information on Porsha. But also he knows that if he does these or has these moments with Lauren, obviously it wouldn't be appropriate in front of Simon to do this with Porsha, but Portia's going to see this and it probably will trigger some memories and, you know, some ideas of how they were together, and it might piss her off. So I feel, oh, sorry.
Oh, I think it's okay.
Okay. Sorry.
What happened?
I didn't mean to say the P word, but you know.
We never know with the YouTube triggers, like you never know, but I think it's okay.
No, I think it'll be okay too.
Okay.
Like I said, a lot of people online were talking about it, and I do have some tweets from Roa Twitter. Like this person who tweeted, "This is Porsha when she sees the clips with Dennis and her sister Lauren." To your point, Adam, Porsha might be jealous, and maybe Dennis is doing it on purpose. Another person said, "I think Lauren likes Dennis."
Ooh-wee.
Yeah, somebody else said, "Oh, that Lauren and Dennis exchange is a little And another person said, "It's definitely cringe AF watching Lauren and Dennis flirt with each other because they are like brother and sister." And so there were so many tweets. Even the Bravo Shade Room tweeted about it. They said Dennis and Lauren is cute. I mean friendship. And Lauren tweeted the throwing up emojis and said, "You tried it."
You know, maybe I know I never thought I'd say this, but maybe I'm naive. I didn't feel any tension between them. Now, Porsha, Phaedra, and Apollo, I still remember that scene. That was Cinemax after dark. The way she walked up those pool steps, you could cut that tension. I was just riveted. It looked like Apollo wanted to grab her, and it was just such good TV. And their tension was you could cut it with a knife. And then you get to Dennis and Lauren. It seemed like, to your point, big brother, little sis energy. And maybe because like my family is once your family, we're playing around. To be thrown in the pool, I didn't see him try to get her. It's just like he threw her in the pool. And to me, again, y'all can drag me. Maybe I'm being naive, you know, and I'll be letting Porsha Williams into my house next year. But it just seems so like, I don't know.
I don't think so, Tisa. I don't think any Porsches are getting in your house. I don't get vibe from you.
It just looks so. But where do you guys see like the energy? Because to me, maybe I'm missing something. I wanted someone to break it down, and you guys are so good at breaking it down. I just didn't see the section. Well, I don't even want to say. I didn't see that energy. I didn't see that flow.
Yeah.
I didn't really see that either.
I saw little undertones of it, but I feel like maybe Lauren is just a flirty person in general. So she would speak that way to Dennis, with anyone else, we would still get that kind of a vibe from her. Like when she and the other cousin, they popped up with the fur and she's like, you know, Dennis, I've got your fur, you know, you help me, I help you. Like that was kind of like cutesy, flirty. Then when she decided for the three of them to share a suite together, I was like, what? That's kind of weird.
That didn't help the case of making it not look like they were flirting. Right, so, like the room didn't help the case.
Exactly.
Like Dennis is a flirt. Like even when the cousin Storm was saying that Dennis used to flirt with her when she worked for him, I was like, okay, he's probably just a flirt in general. You know what I mean? That's probably just how he vibes with women. So I feel like Dennis is just a flirt, and Lauren, you know what I mean? Like I don't feel like she's flirting with Dennis. I don't think it's something there, but I can see why people would think that. Because of Dennis, how he was throwing her in the pool and how she was insisting that he stay in the suite beside her. I can see where people are getting that from.
Well, my sources actually told me that the reason why Lauren was insisting that Dennis stay in that suite is because Lauren was on babysitting duty. To the fact they know Porsha, they know her triggers, and they know that when Porsha gets overwhelmed emotionally, she lashes out at people. So if they can keep Dennis close by, no women around, and her trigger is we saw from this episode, Porsha is a bit of a control freak. Now that's neither good nor bad. It's just the way some people's personalities are, right? But she's a bit of a control freak. And then Lauren's job was to make sure that Porsha didn't get triggered. And one of her biggest triggers, for whatever reasons, happened to be Dennis. And that's why she was, and Dennis knew that. That's why he was like, what are y'all babysitting me? Y'all babysitting me? Why am I sharing a suite with 2 women and I'm a grown man? So
I mean, I would be annoyed if I were Dennis because this isn't fair. This is actually none of this is. So now I'm dancing around you while you're parading your new fiance in front of me while we're filming a whole reality TV show. And I have to make sure that your feelings are not hurt. But I'm the one who's in this awkward position with your whole family looking at me like I'm crazy for even being here to begin with. No, Porsha.
The country bumpkins.
No.
It's her revenge. It's Porsha's revenge for him cheating.
Yeah, I do think it's revenge, but it's not working right. And I feel like you can never, like, when you plot revenge, it's never going to work out right. Like they say, the grave you dig for someone else, that's the grave you're going to fall in. And I feel like we're seeing that with Porsha. I honestly feel like we're seeing Porsha's downfall, just like we watched kind of like Nene's downfall on the Real Housewives of Atlanta, how she was built up to be the star of the show. And then, you see her downfall. Same with Jocelyn. Jocelyn was like the star. She became the star of Love and Hip Hop. And then people love to see a star fall. Do y'all feel like we're watching Porsha's star fall with this show?
I think she messed up by even doing this show.
Yeah.
I think that, I didn't mean to cut anybody off. I was just going to say, I feel like for Porsha, this is when the housewives are a part of these ensemble casts, they get to have whatever little bit of anonymity that they have, because usually we focus on one central storyline for them. Like last season, Drew Sidora's husband going to a hotel, but not giving us details as to what hotel, where were you? You know what I mean? And I feel like that's what we harp on the whole season. Now for Porsha, she normally has like Strippergate, one storyline, but now she has to explain a lot. I think she almost would have been better off going up against Kenya and Marlo, calling her out on Atlanta, than she would have been having her whole entire family and Dennis and Simon in the same special filming together, because nothing's adding up. The timelines are so off.
Yeah.
I agree.
I want to acknowledge this super chat from Pre-P. She said, fan of Tisa and fan of this panel now. Thank you. She says, subscribe to everyone and loving the interaction. Thank you. Thank you. I appreciate every single subscription, every single super chat, every single membership. It's definitely appreciated here. It's definitely appreciated. All right, you guys. So this is what I really wanted to know. Like you said, Adam, I don't think this is a good idea for Porsha either. Like this whole show was not a good idea. I don't think it was a good idea for her to get with Falynn's husband, like from the start. I don't think that was a good idea. But it seems as if Porsha feels like Falynn getting pregnant kind of offsets what Porsha did. And I want to know y'all's opinion. Do y'all think that makes it better or even? I'll say even, but not better. Right?
But whose point are you looking at it? Like if you're looking at it from abstract, maybe you could say if you're a Porsha fan or even a friend of Porsha, okay, it's the same. But Porsha's reputation was honestly, in my mind, right, looking from a PR point, Porsha was that girl that, just like us, you've been played by guys, you've made decisions, your anger's gotten the best of you. There's been times where you haven't been your best, and we've seen you at your best and worst, and we love you despite of it, right? I used to really, really like Porsha. And she was going through things, and one of the things that endeared her were there were always men or people lying to her, gaslighting her, taking advantage of her. So it's weird now that her persona is not the naive, sweet, oh, you love, but you make bad decisions. But now you're the person sitting here gaslighting us. Your audience is mostly women. And I don't care what country you're from, what culture you are from. If I cannot trust you, I don't care if I'm sleeping with the Philadelphia 76ers. If I cannot trust you in the room with my man, what are we doing? Like, where are you invited to? I want to confess, yes, I've been. I'm just saying, it doesn't matter what I'm doing if I cannot trust you in my, the same thing with guys will be like, yeah, I might be cheating on my girl, but that don't give you the right to try to talk to her. It's just this code where it's like, I cannot trust you in any situation. And when Simon revealed that was a death knell, that she had slid into his DMs, it's like, oh, so you weren't even seduced. You were the person going at him. Okay.
Yeah.
And I also think too, when you compare like which one's worse, is it worse because one got pregnant and the other one's engaged? I think that if anything, Falynn getting having this baby with Jalen and then moving forward with their relationship, having name changes and everything that they've done on their side, I think one doesn't, make up for the other or make it right, but it does take some of the heat off of Porsha, because we're not looking at Falynn anymore as this woman who was left behind and her whole family decided to up and leave her for Porsha, this man, her whole lifestyle, and what is she going to do with her life now? Like, we don't look at Falynn like that. We're like, oh, she looks like she's happy. She has a new baby. She's in her own situation. So I feel like people are going to think in their mind, well, then why do we care if Portia's, engaged to Simon? It doesn't matter anymore. So
because the timeline. Listen, you guys know, Adam and I have both talked to Falynn. Adam got first. He had the bombshell interview, right? I talked to Falynn. Yeah, well, I talked to Falynn after she had the baby, right? And honestly, here's the thing. Yes, they both moved on very quickly, if you can believe this timeline of them not meeting, but starting to get flirty, talking and getting engaged on 30 days. My issue as a woman, or even as a human, right? Because nobody likes to be cheated on, was what you were doing back in September, what you were doing when you were fist bumping my husband, come on, hey, have you met? And they're just like, oh, that's the part where I'm like, yeah, as a woman, I just can't get down with that. Again, I honestly feel like if they had both moved on in March or April, it'd be like, you know what, Porsha, it looks weird, but fine, whatever. Love makes things happen. Alexa play babyface. But the fact that it was going on behind the scenes, that's where I was like, you didn't even know anything about what Falynn was doing when you, in my opinion, when you were creeping with this lady's husband. So,
but did Falynn know anything about what Porsha was doing when she was creeping with the help in Simon's house? The help that Simon was paying for and the house he was paying for.
Well, Simon wasn't paying for anything, though.
Come on. She was banging the help in the house that he was taking around on vacation. She went on Adam's show pregnant, talking about,
Adam
doesn't check in on my kids. Girl, you're pregnant with the next man's baby. Then she comes on to Layla and I. We're doing a stream with Kempire. Okay. Jalen comes on, not her, talking about, oh, we didn't get together until May. So you're like, Phaedra, the doctor induced your birth at 5 months?
But listen, here's the thing. Not to defend anybody's action.
One second. I do want to acknowledge this super chat. Let me just get to it. Oh my God.
I mean, to be fair too, the rumors, and I've said this multiple times, I'm going to let Layla go on this one.
Oh, Dr. Payne Nestor. Don't forget the doctor. Say hi, T. Say hi, everyone. Love you guys together. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for the super chat.
Thank you, Dr. Payne. Thanks for Tattletales. Thank you so much for showing up. Whoever's not here, go and DM them and tell them to come and show some love. This is a live chat. We are literally debating the Falynn versus Porsha thing in real time. Grace just called Jalen the help. I'm about to come with my rebuttal, and Adam is coming with his left hook, and Layla is refereeing it like, right.
I mean, all I wanted to say here is really quick, because I get a lot of crap for this interview, okay? And there were things that did not come out until after the trailer of the interview. Simon never talked about Jalen. So if anyone thinks that I would have had an inkling of what was going on with Jalen and I wouldn't have asked about it, you're out of your mind. Had I have known that, and when we were there and we did the interview, Falynn looked like a supermodel. Not saying that pregnant women can't look like a supermodel, but obviously if you do the timeline now, we know that Falynn was pregnant then. And I know that there are superstitions with talking about pregnancy. You don't reveal it until after a certain time or, after your first trimester. And there are things that happen. I don't know why this wasn't mentioned and if that was just Falynn's choice or if she didn't know or what was going on. But what I do know is when I was looking at her and when I was sitting down with her, nobody ever would have guessed, oh, she is pregnant. Not based off of anything she was wearing, how she looked. You would not have guessed it.
I have to disagree, because that sash, and I feel like if you've ever been pregnant, you know what I mean, you can kind of recognize pregnancy a little bit better. But that sash across her suit, when sashes are not the fashion, but she had this white sash going across her suit, and I did a video about it. But I took it down after a while. But she had this white sash going across her suit, and then a lot of time pregnancy, you know, because you're holding so much fluid. The fluid is not just in your stomach; it's all in your face. So her face, I can see looking back. You know what I mean? It's like you could see pregnancy all over her face. And that's why, to me, like I said, when I review the show, I feel like they're all wrong. And I don't feel like anybody's wrongness offsets the other. I feel like they're all wrong.
Well, you guys all make good points. I will say, oh, go ahead, Layla. I'll let you shout out Jewel. Hey, Jewel, what's going on?
Yeah, hey, Jewel. She said, hi, Tisa. This is a superstar panel. Thank you. Thank you. Y'all coming through.
Yeah. Now, I will say this, right? First of all, the Jalen the help thing, right? If we're going to call Jalen the help, and you know how it is with Real Housewives, you have to come and you have to be like, everybody has an assistant, whether it's your sister, brother, best friend, whatever. Everyone has an assistant. If we're going to call Jalen to help, then don't we really need to acknowledge that if we're going by that storyline, then Porsha and Falynn were really good friends. You know, it's kind of like we can't believe half the storyline about Jalen just being the help, where from what I understand, he's a manager in IT, and now we're just calling him a help. Well, literally, he was just brought in to kind of be in the house when Simon wasn't there. Now, Adam, to your point about people giving you a lot of grief, you know, I was like dragged on the Shade Room. I think it might have been a little bit of jealousy, Adam, the fact that you got the exclusive, you got this. And honestly, people were just mad that you couldn't crawl into her uterus. And I think it was a great interview you did. But I think that like you could have been damned if you do, damn it, people were going to criticize you. It was an amazing interview. You see from the views, but I do think that the people criticizing you, it's honestly a little bit of jealousy. And just also, sometimes people just ain't nothing you can do. They're always going to. So I see the flack that you got, but I, again, overwhelmingly was supportive. And I can see how you couldn't tell she was pregnant. I was the one betting that Porsha was pregnant. And Porsha's obviously not pregnant, but I was betting Porsha was pregnant just because she ate an extra burrito and a margarita. So I can see how we all get those pregnancy bellies when we eat. You know, I'm not shading Porsha. I'm saying you might think I'm pregnant if you see me eating, like pigging out that night. But so I can see how you saw Falynn. And to me, you know, Layla, maybe you saw, but I saw her at the interview and I was like, no, I don't think she's pregnant either.
But so like pregnant or not, if she were an honest person who was not trying to manipulate the situation, I feel like she would have mentioned that she had moved on her own, like romantically as well. And that's why, you know what I mean? It didn't hurt this much or that, but it felt very manipulative in my opinion.
Once she left the pregnancy, but you guys don't think that once she left the pregnancy and she announced it, that's when she did that post and she was like, boom, we both not it. This is the thing about Falynn.
I do agree with that post that she made. And I also do want to acknowledge quickly this super chat. Bless Louise said, okay, Grace, speaking all facts, Falynn is not innocent. Nobody's innocent here. You know what I mean? I don't think we can even expect any innocence in the situation. And
I'm innocent.
It's true.
I take that back. You are innocent, Adam. You did a great interview. You are innocent. You know what I mean? You were even like sticking up for Falynn. You know, you were like, she smoked hookah with me. She's not pregnant, you guys. And she fooled us. She fooled us.
This woman was being, this is the last defense I'll do because I'm just defending a pregnant woman. Social media is vicious. Porsha and Simon called their dogs on her. Now, you know how social media is. Even posting something like, oh, she's a cheater, she's this and that. People descend on you like wolves. I do think that in those early stages, I will forgive somebody for not being upfront because you could lose something. That stress really gets to people. Porsha's even talked about how the stress has gotten to her. Social media stress is real. And when you're in that vulnerable situation, and that's why, again, maybe the optics don't look good. I did the math and I counted back 280 days because y'all know everybody's saying, 40 weeks. But 40 weeks is not 28 days. 40 weeks is 280 days, right? 4 times 7. I counted back and I said, okay, it tracks that you got pregnant in March. That's fine. You might have delivered a week early. That's no problem. But I will say, I will cut somebody grace. The fact you're pregnant and you didn't want anything to deal with the pregnancy. Again, maybe there were more nefarious things, but to me, I was like, pregnancy, it gives you kind of like a golden halo on that time, and I'll cut grace. But when she did, last thing I'll say, when she admitted it, she came out and admitted everything, and her story hasn't changed. So
I also think
Clark said, "Business women, why the robe and no clothes on?" This
Versace robe.
Yes, this is a Versace robe. Okay, you guys, the whole episode was about a Versace robe. So I put on my Versace robe, but I am dressed. I have on a t-shirt dress. I am dressed. I'm definitely doing business.
and if you ever want a full Layla look, just go stalk her on Instagram.
Yeah,
Exactly. She is not wearing New York and Co. That is a Versace robe. Put some respect on that, please.
This might be New York and Co. Okay.
The robe cost.
Okay. And you know what? Okay, I'm gonna run my ad later, but I have a link. If you guys want to buy luxury items, I have a link you can use to fashionfile.com and get sell your items back, 75% off. But I'm gonna share that in a minute. I want to share Shannon Van. Thank you for the super chat, Shan. She said, even Falynn showing her post-baby body, the math ain't mathing. Her uterus should still be swollen. I think she gave birth earlier than announced. That's interesting. What do you guys think about that?
That's public record. We don't even have to wonder about that. We can literally wait 30 more days and the birth certificate will be actually registered. Again, the women in my family are very hippie. Again, who knows what happens? But I will say when it comes to that, and you guys know, it's the way a woman's body is shaped. Some people, when they drop the baby, they have a great snapback game. Other people don't. I will say when it comes to that, the birth certificate will be public soon enough. So
and I have to say, just as the gay dude on this panel, I obviously do not have the best optics when it comes to identifying a pregnant woman. So for me, count me out on that one. Okay?
What about you, Layla? You've got kids. Let us know.
Well, I will say this, because this is her fourth child. And yes, every woman's body is different, especially if you're in shape. And I get the feeling Falynn is in shape. So if her abs are already tight, yes, I can see her bouncing back quickly because her abs are already tight. I will say that.
And she didn't have a C-section. She had a natural birth and she didn't stretch out. I mean, when I saw her, she was all belly. So it makes sense. Again, every woman's different, but when it comes to pregnancy, it really is a different journey for everyone. So to me, that's not really a smoking gun, you know? And I would think it would be diabolical that somebody would literally have their baby on a different date when it is public record. You know what I'm saying? You can't.
I mean, that's giving us some Phaedra vibes right there.
Yes.
Is it not? Like, cue back to Real Housewives of Atlanta season, what, 3 or 4?
Grace, what do you think?
No, honestly, I feel like all of these people are just pathological liars. It makes me dizzy trying to, like, decipher what happened with any of them.
Yeah. I love that about you, Grace. Like, you can always count on Grace. If somebody is lying, Grace will call it out. And I definitely
are lying.
Thank you, Dr. Princess, for the super chat. She said, "Hey, Layla, nice seeing you again." Nice seeing you too. Thank you. You guys, I don't know how many episodes this show is going to be, but this is a rotating panel. So this week is my week. Next week is Grace's week. And then we'll go back to Tisa and Up and Adam until the series is finished. But this is a rotating panel. We go live every Monday at 12:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. All right, you guys. So let me get back into the show. I'm looking to see if there are any more super chats, but let me get back into the show. And I also want to point out, I felt it was very interesting that Lundy on the show, she specifically pointed out Porsha's father's side, like who was on her father's side of the family, and then who's on her mother's side of the family. And she was kind of making it seem like there's a difference in the attitudes, just the whole approach. Is like she basically called the mother's side country bumpkins. Can y'all see a difference in how they act between the mother's side and the father's side?
Well, I know the Williamses in Atlanta, that whole thing about keeping up with the Joneses, the Williams are the Joneses in Atlanta. They have the legacy. They are successful. Everyone always tries to keep up with them. And, they're bougie, right? They might have a reason to be, they might not, but they are bougie. So that's another reason why they look at Porsha's family as their country bumpkins. They're just not our type of people. Now, whether or not this is justified, listen, this is all family interactions, but I did think it was funny that it actually made it to the show that she called them country bumpkins. I fell out. I fell out. Yeah,
a mess. It's funny because Portia's on the Williams side, and Portia's had violent altercation with 4 different people on camera. So, like, is she really like bougie or not? Like, you know what I mean? Like, I feel like Portia is very, I think she drags down the legacy, you know what I mean, that they have, like, based on her interactions on the Real Housewives of Atlanta. And then at the end of the day, it's your family. Calling that one side country bumpkin or whatever. Like, for us in Canada as Canadians or whatever, we don't really use this term. Like, it doesn't really, I don't get it. But does it have a different connotation to you guys, like in the United States? Like, is it associated with being like uneducated or kind of like low class or something like that? Is it very negative?
Just like,
I wouldn't say very negative, but it is negative. Bumpkin is a negative term.
I mean, to be fair too, I have 11 brothers and sisters, and I have a very divided family. And on holidays, we all come together, and you know, it was so interesting. Like, even my Thanksgiving, I have the aunt who's pulling up in an RV that's like $300,000, and then I have the cousin who just got out of jail for drugs. You know what I mean? And like, it was so divided, and we're mixing everyone together. And I always joke around, and I'm like, you know, this side of my dad's family is super country, and I don't know what I'm going to get. And then this other side is bougie. If you think about it, does it sound like an insult? Yes. But can it be true sometimes? Also, yes.
Do you remember why she said it? I don't remember.
Well, just to let you guys know, she said it unprompted, but just to let you guys know, put a little more flavor on that. Porsha and her mom were never embraced by the Williams side. So when she's saying that Portia's family's country bumpkin, she's low-key calling Porsha a country bumpkin too, because she wasn't really raised with the Williamses, and they didn't really embrace her. She tried to get back in with them with the Hosea when she started Real Housewives of Atlanta, and it was like, okay. But then once she had that little dust up with Kenya at the thing, they were like, yeah, no more taping, because they didn't want that image to fall on the family. So that's why I thought it was funny, low-key shade. And I was like, wait, the two sides don't get along, but Porsha is definitely on I don't even know the other side of the family's name, but yeah, the Williams don't look at Porsha as their own. So.
All I know is Storm better leave Londi alone, because Londi is going to pull her across the table in this episode. So
Storm stood up.
Little mini Porsha. That's what Dennis calls her, mini Porsha.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. Well, we know that Porsha, at least, listen, and I'm not saying this is okay, and I'm not condoning this behavior, but she follows through. She might give you the verbal and, you know, be a wordsmith and rip you apart, but she's also going to drag you off the stage. For Storm, there's a lot. She's passionate, and I'm hoping that Londi doesn't get a hold of her. Just saying.
I'm sorry,
Adam. Thank you for the super chat. She said, I'm with you, Grace. I am so dizzy right now. This whole show makes me dizzy. The whole show makes me dizzy. But the reason I kind of appreciated Londi pointing out the differences between the family, because in that last scene when they're at the dinner, you can see, okay, this is not necessarily blood family fighting. You can see the two sides.
Okay.
And shout out to Lulu. Lulu M said, also, doctor will not give you. Ooh, I saw this. I know exactly what you're talking about. You're talking about the Instagram post from Falynn where she posted she's working out again.
Yeah.
That also, doctor will not give you okay in 5 days post baby. So I agree with the math, not math. And sidebar. Ooh, Adam, what's your skincare routine? Love this panel.
Just so that you guys know, on my interview with Falynn, she actually clarified, and she said I wasn't lifting weights. I meant the doctor gave me okay to start walking again. So she's doing like walking every morning, every night. Well, that's what she said. So
I always feel so uncomfortable too. Like Christine from Selling Sunset on Netflix just got a lot of crap because she was wearing heels 2 days after giving, birth to her baby, and she had a C-section, and everyone was like, "You're lying. You're setting unreal expectations for women's bodies. You didn't actually carry that kid. You can't walk around in heels." And it makes me so uncomfortable, maybe because I'm not a woman, to like criticize what a woman should be doing when she's pregnant, after she's pregnant. I mean, I feel like you can't, it's almost like what you said earlier, damned if you do, damned if you don't. You can't do anything right without it being picked apart, no matter what.
Yeah. Yeah. Especially with the way that Falynn got pregnant.
I like how Layla adds that in there too. She's like, but hold on, there's more. Yeah,
we can't. But I want to get into this. Okay, so they show Porsha, she's cooking this Nigerian breakfast for Simon. Like, even Simon, he doesn't even recognize this breakfast. He's like, what do you call this? But then they get into Simon talking, and he's like, he's never had anybody take care of him before. So he's 57 years old. This is going to be his 4th wife. What do you guys think of Simon saying these things like he's never had this before? Almost like he's a virgin. You know what I mean? Like
The lies.
this innocence coming from Simon. What do you think, Grace?
I thought of Tisa. I was like, Tisa already spilled the tea with receipts about how your first wife put you through school and how the next one did this. You know, like, come on now, Simon. Come on.
Yeah, I kind of get the same vibe too. Like, even when I first met Jason and Jason would like write notes and like leave notes for me when he would leave the house and stuff, I'd be like, oh, nobody ever did that. That is so nice. But really, it's like your ex did the same thing, but you just want to make this person feel more special. And I feel like that's what Simon does here in this situation. I feel like now maybe this is why I get dubbed as the villain there, Tisa. But I feel like this is what Simon's doing in this situation. He's like, oh my gosh, I've never had a woman who's so successful who's trying to cook for me. This is great. This is why I love her, guys. Can you not tell why I love her so much? And she's over here, she's like struggling. She's like trying to make dinner, but you could tell this is not her forte. Like she does great on the Ricky Smiley morning show, but maybe not in the kitchen.
And mind you, she made bacon and eggs, put plantain on it, then called it a Nigerian breakfast. Like what? A mess.
That's another thing I can't cook, so I'm chiming in on that one.
I never had a Nigerian breakfast, but I will say this. Nothing about that breakfast looked like exotic to me. You know what I mean? Like it was real regular. It was real regular.
Yeah.
But yeah, so also in that scene, we hear Simon talk about, he said that, you know, Porsha and Dennis are doing well as co-parents. He makes his assessment and his assessment is that they're doing well. But then he mentions, you know, he has multiple co-parents and they're doing well too. He said it was a struggle, but they're doing well. And it kind of made me think like, okay, remember when he talked about his grandfather having like 25 wives and his dad having 2 wives? When he started talking about the multiple co-parents he has, like his ex-wives, it made me feel like, okay, you will marry one woman at a time because that's, you know, American custom. But in a way, you're doing the same thing as far as having multiple wives. You know what I mean? Because people, the whole multiple wives thing, people look at it as like, you're making women interchangeable. And I think that's why American culture, you know, has a problem with it because it makes women look interchangeable. But isn't Simon doing the same thing? Like he's interchanging wives. Like he just had Falynn and now he has Porsha. Like what are your thoughts? Do y'all see where he's interchanging wives? Or you feel different?
That, but I thought the reason that people, or at least I was offended on the polygamy issue was because 1, he's a dum-dum. But 2, I was just offended because I was like, listen, people that practice polygamy, they don't look at their other wives as side Johns. You know, there was a level of disrespect that I saw when she was talking to Porsha, because again, I don't know how y'all talk in private, but we are on national TV. People are judging our relationship. It's like getting in an argument at your anniversary dinner as opposed to getting in an argument when you're in the privacy of your own home. But also it's like, which is very disrespectful of something that is from your culture and very, and so much so that he had to go back and clarify. Now, Simon is a serial monogamous, but everybody he's been with and his track record shows that he still cheats. So he interchanges wives, but then he has side pieces in between there. So it just seemed a bit hypocritical that you're judging anybody's relationship as a co-parent when you just seem to, you're still trying to figure it out, you know? So,
and I agree with you too. When he said side and used the B word, I thought it was so disrespectful, especially if you're trying to, you know, if you're trying to let us in on your culture, Nigerian culture, maybe we don't know about this yet or don't understand. The best way to help everyone understand is not to be like, listen, my grandfather had a wife and then he would keep his side happy because that's what you'd want to do so he doesn't go get another side. And I'm like, wait a minute, that is not how you, if you're letting us into your culture and explaining why your grandfather and father married the way they did, have some respect when you explain it.
Exactly. Because it is respectable in certain cultures to have multiple wives. It's a sign of you being, you know, very manly, very like a provider, because in order to do this, you have to prove that you have enough money that you can take care of however many wives you have. You know, they're not side this like B words or whatever, like you guys are saying, like, you know, like they're women that you love and you also want to have families with. I think that would have been better for him than what he's got going on now, because the children keep going through divorces, going from like living in one house to another. Like if he's had multiple wives, you know, went to Nigeria and did this, they'd all live together, like in different houses on the same compound. And then the kids would all live in their respective houses with their respective moms, and I'll just be able to, you know, as siblings, because they lived very nearby. So it is weird that he's like painting it as just something that like it's already so stereotypically seen as.
Yeah. Yeah. It's like you're not taking advantage of the platform the way that you're letting us into, you know, your culture. I don't know.
Yeah. Shout out to Terry T. She said, was Jalen serving time for his DUI during the time Falynn claimed she conceived? I want to say no.
No. I think he said he got locked up the end of March. I think the end of March.
And she got pregnant sometime in March. We did a rollback. And we counted if she, you know, if she gave birth early, like I counted back at least 3 weeks, because normally you give birth between 37 and 40 weeks. And she got pregnant sometime in March. But from my understanding, no. The answer to that question would be no. And I think that goes back to people questioning the paternity of Falynn's baby, because it was mentioned that she was dating a celebrity in between Simon and Jalen.
Really?
Yes.
Yeah,
and then he said to us that they weren't. Yeah. And he came on our thing, remember? He's like, oh, we weren't like whatever until like May, June or something like that. So it's a little confusing.
Yeah.
It's confusing. You know, for all those guys in the chat, I see the chat and you guys saying, you guys, we are on a panel. We need a devil's advocate. Do you guys all just want to come here and see us be like, yes, absolutely, and just agree with each other? Sometimes we agree, but the fun and the magic is when we're having a conversation. And Layla is kind enough to share this conversation with you guys. So you guys, listen, no one's being put in jail over this. Nobody is losing their livelihood. This is just us shooting the breeze. You guys, let's laugh and have fun and be messy, because that's what you guys came here for. You know?
And technically, Jalen served his time. So
he did.
We're good on time served.
I was out of loop on that. I had no idea that you had an issue. Yeah.
Oh, you're muted, Layla.
Oh yeah, Layla.
Okay, my bad. I was talking to my son. But yeah, Jalen served his time, and from my understanding, this is something that happened when he was younger, as far as the DUI. So I think it's safe to say that he is the father. But going back to the episode, I want to know what you guys think. So they arrived in Mexico, and Lauren puts Dennis in the suite with her. Why do you think Lauren and Porsha think that they can control a grown man? Like, she puts him in the suite with her so she can keep an eye on him. Going back to the babysitting, so she can keep an eye on him. And to me, I have to be honest with you, it blew my mind for someone to think that they can control a grown man. This man is like pushing 40. You think you can put him in a room beside you and he's not going to do this, he's not going to do that. And meanwhile, he's also a multimillionaire. Like, why do you think Lauren and Porsha think that they can watch Dennis and kind of supervise Dennis? What do y'all think?
Control.
Yeah, I think they wanted to make it a storyline so that Porsha and Simon didn't have to shoot too many lovey-dovey scenes together, because the chemistry just isn't there with the two of them.
And, you know, we have heard too in the past, who makes themselves a margarita at 1:25 in the afternoon? What we have heard in the past too, this is my relationship. We have heard in the past too, that, you know, the show was boring, and that's why they had to implement Dennis, because Simon is not reality TV gold, whether it's true that he wanted Falynn on the show or not, because I want this attention and everything that comes with it. Be careful what you ask for, first of all. But second off, you still have to have a personality that, you know, fans and the cameras love. And for Simon, there's something that people are finding him to be more cringe than they are falling in love with him. And Dennis, like Tisa said, in some crazy messed up world, we're all like, Dennis is great. We love him on the show. But why? I mean, it's very odd, this dynamic. But without him, I don't think they would have had a show.
No, I agree with you guys. But I do think that also the reason they think they can control him is because you guys think about last time Dennis was on reality TV, they could control him. my people on the street were saying that part of the reason why those scenes were like Porsha was crying and Dennis was just looking at her cold-bloodedly is because he felt like she had him on reality TV looking crazy. And Dennis looked at it as like, we kind of like each other. We're having fun. The pregnancy wasn't planned, but if this can help boost our business so we can get money together, let's go along with it. So he signed off on a lot of things that came back to blow over. At this point, Dennis is a reality TV vet. Even the way Porsha set little fires everywhere around that table and everybody was going crazy, and Dennis was looking at her and would not give her reaction. It was just like, no, Porsha, I'm not doing this. So I think that they still think it's the same Dennis from season whatever, Real Housewives. And now Dennis is like, I'm not letting y'all do this to me anymore.
Mm-hmm. That's a good point. I think that's it too.
Yeah.
I agree. Hey, by the way, Layla, I just have to jump off because I'm about to leave.
Okay.
But Layla, Tisa, Grace, I appreciate the heck out of you guys. And thank you for having me. Layla, by the way, you look absolutely stunning. Obviously, Tisa, Grace, you both know you look stunning. I'm in pajamas, but I will see you guys so very soon. And thanks everyone.
Bye.
Bye, guys.
You guys, it's a link in the chat. If you go up to the beginning of the chat and go in the description box, it's a link to subscribe to Adam's channel, Tisa's channel, Grace's channel. So make sure you subscribe to the people that I feature on my channel because these are my favorite YouTubers. So we definitely appreciate Adam coming, Tisa coming, and Grace coming through on this panel. Grace kind of orchestrated this whole thing. So thank you, Grace. I definitely
of course. I love all of you guys so much. I'm like, oh my God,
Great.
we have to do this. You know what? By the way, Layla, I have a bone to pick with you about skipping the photo. We skipped it in the kitchen scene, the Pilar on the wall. The wall.
Oh my God, let me find it.
Let's get that up there. Okay, guys, while Layla looks for it, I don't know if you guys noticed or not, but when Simon came into the kitchen where Porsha was cooking, the wall was like scribbled all over in crayon or marker or whatever. And then it had Pilar very high up, like at their height level. And obviously Pilar, like she's not that tall that she would be able to write that herself. What happened there? What was that about? Did that catch your eye, Tisa?
You know what? Not until you guys said something. And when you did, I almost fell out of the chair because I said, was that Porsha or production being too ambitious? And then they were sitting there and when they were editing, they just didn't know how to go back. And they were like, well, let's just roll with it. But y'all caught it. Pilar, right there.
Yes.
This is Porsha's work. I think this is Porsha writing on her own wall. She wrote Pilar. She did the scribble. Because, yeah, Pilar is definitely not that tall.
And why do that in your kitchen? This wasn't like the basement, like, you know, construction wall. This is like the kitchen.
So in the next, this is what I want to ask you about. We're talking about Simon and basically how he's kind of like unlikable. He's not really
I love that.
So when they're doing the Florida water ritual, whatever, and they're putting it over their third eye, and you see Simon looking at Dennis. He always said Dennis is not this type of guy. But what did y'all think? I didn't know what to think. They show Simon giving him this look. What is this look? What is this?
He's like, I'm not participating in this witchcraft. I know he thinks it's witchcraft, and he's not messing with it.
It's giving Silence of the Lambs, single white female stalker vibes. You are the GOAT, Layla, for catching this look. I didn't even see this one. This is the creepiest thing I've ever seen. It's like he has the fake smile plastered, but his eyes look so like malicious. I don't know. It's just so disconcerting. There is a disconnect between his eyes, the window to his soul, and that fake smile on his face. It's just Dennis sleep with one eye open.
Oh no, you're on mute again, Layla.
Oh, you're muted.
I keep talking to my son. On mute, my bad. But yeah, I would say I definitely couldn't place that look. That's why I tried to capture it because I was like, I don't understand what's going on here. What is this? You know what I mean? Especially because of the way that he talks about Dennis. But we see them sit down, you know, they do the Florida water thing and then they sit down for dinner and they talk about their intentions, which I think was great. You know, to say my intention this weekend is to this, this, and this. And Porsha says her intention, she can't identify. Oh, Adam's back. Oh, no, he's not. Her soul is smoky. And then she brings up the situation with the robe. She brings up the situation with the Versace robe. What did you guys think of Porsha bringing that up? Well, I want to know what you think of her making that an issue.
I mean, I actually thought it was really disrespectful. Now, here's the thing. Assuming, because we know so much is fake in reality TV, Lauren seems like, and I've talked about this on my channel before, that she's decided she wants to be a healer, right? She wants to be the one to heal her family. And she's even trying to become like an actual shaman healer, right? And if you think about that, then this retreat was one for the show, but two to kind of to launch her to everyone. So it's kind of like if I'm like, hey, you guys, like, can you come on my panel? I really want to be a YouTuber. And then you wait till you're on to be like, Tisa, I want to talk about why you did this. And before you know it, everybody's fussing like cats and dogs. And it makes me look like I'm not a healer. I can't handle everything. And maybe I'm reading too much into it. But if somebody was my sister or even a good friend, somebody that I just cared about, and they're trying to launch something, I would just wait to not act a fool then, because there will be other scenes for me to bring up this nonsense. I would just want you to be like, go ahead and do your shaman thing. I'll sit here quietly. You know, that's the way I felt.
Ooh, do you mean you feel like she was sabotaging her sister kind of a thing?
I do. I think that Porsha was low-key mad that Lauren invited Dennis, right? I think she was low-key mad that Lauren is still friendly with Dennis. And, you know, I do feel like, because Porsha's always talking about people supporting her events, and she knows has this reality TV go. There we go. That might be where she's mad. She saw the playback, but she knows the way this reality TV goes, and she knows what Lauren was trying to accomplish. And again, if I come to your channel and I know you're trying to accomplish something, I'm not going to start acting a fool and doing things that can mess up when you're trying to launch yourself. That's the way I saw it.
I saw it as her. I could see that perspective for sure, because Porsha has always been shady to everybody in her life, including her sister, especially when her sister was pregnant and Porsha was jealous of that. But my initial thought was just that she was playing producer. She's like, listen, I got to keep this plot going. Everybody's here. This is the best moment to kind of drop the bomb and, you know, start the drama as well. But yeah.
Yeah. Nick Ogore, thank you for the super chat. Nick said, guys, did you notice the tablecloth rolled up inside the frying pan when Porsha was cooking? Love the panel.
I did. I thought that was a Southern thing. Is that not I don't know, because I don't want to talk. I'm like, is that a thing? I've never seen that happen, but the way she did it made me feel like it was. Have y'all ever seen somebody do that?
I'd never seen it. I thought it was gonna like catch on fire or something. I thought she was soaking up the oil in the pan, but it was kind of weird.
Yeah, I would think you would use a paper towel to soak up oil. I didn't see it.
It was rolled up, blue and white, sitting right in the middle of the bacon. And side note, listen,
okay,
if my mom's cooking something, she can do whatever. If my BFF or my family's cooking something, but something about the way she was cooking and oil was popping and the rag was in, I'd have been like, why don't we just do DoorDash? You know, we get some omelets, we get some French toast. Like, I don't know. I'd have been like,
Shout out to Queen. Thank you for the super chat. Queen said, Porsha does not love or like Dennis. She loves the money and the meat. Good morning. That's the same thing they say, not only about Dennis, but Simon, that she doesn't actually love Simon. She just loves the money. She wants a certain lifestyle. So she loves the men that can give her a certain lifestyle. I definitely agree with that.
I agree. I think she forces all of these relationships, you know, and moves them all quickly. And it's something that you see in the book as well, you know, like she's always trying to like push something along with someone that she thinks can give her a certain kind of a lifestyle.
Yeah. And even at the table, you see Londi at the table, you know, and she's saying basically she was calling out the barbecue, and Londi was saying that the barbecue was weird. You know what I mean? The barbecue last week when Porsha, she's kind of like forcing these interactions and trying to force, she said she's merging her family, but it's like she's forcing it. And Londi called her out for it. And that's what kind of started the argument at the table. I thought that might have been the beginning of the fight scene, but apparently not. But what y'all think of Porsha forcing that, forcing those relationships, I guess you would say?
It backfires, you know, it backfires. I think maybe if she moves slower, because, you know, someone was asking, you know, what's the problem? I don't think it's a problem to look for like a certain kind of person that can give you what you want in a relationship, but maybe just don't steamroll it and force it along, get pregnant in 2 weeks like she did with Dennis, or get engaged in 2 weeks like she did with Simon, you know, like feel things out, see how they go. She also had this story. I know not Porsha, Tisa's doing the book review on her channel, but I remember reading, did you cover this yet, Tisa, where she talked about the guy who he had money, okay? He had money and he had property. And he gave her his card sometimes to go shopping. And one day she buys herself. She's like, I calculated 3 months of his salary, bought myself a promise ring, and he was not having it. Yeah.
Well, he dropped her off at the Country John. Is what, listen, Grace tells no lies. He dropped her off at the mall to go for her to run to get something. She came back out with a promise ring. Then instead of being like, you completely abuse this person's trust, whether it's a man or not, I gave you my credit card to pick up some few things. She calculated 3 months salary and she was like, no, but we talked about it and this and that. And she was saying what a meanie he was for getting mad about that. And she made a comment about like, oh, I think he was embarrassed he didn't have it. And even I was like, even if I believe the promise ring story, Porsha, you also bought yourself a bracelet. Why did you buy yourself a bracelet? It was just... She does force things, but I don't know if it's because, and this is the interesting thing, you know, if you guys don't watch Erica De Niro, she had an interesting theory on Twitter about Porsha, saying that Porsha, yes, shout out to Diva. Yes, she's the best. But I love Erica De Niro, but she had an interesting thing about Porsha, and it's always stuck in my mind that Porsha operates like a woman whose rent is due. And they are short and they don't have a job. She is this, again, I know I clown Porsha a lot, right? Because this season she disappointed me, but she is beautiful. She is charismatic. She has a beautiful body. She has a star quality. There's a reason why she captured everybody's hearts. And to me, I can't see why a man wouldn't be happy with her. Not everybody's flavor, but you can definitely get someone to love you for who you are. And she just operates from a point that she's not lovable, that nobody wants her, even meeting people, and to your point, Grace, pushing relationships. And it's like, but Porsha, did you even decide if you wanted to be with them? You're just like, love me, and you don't even know what you're asking for. So I don't know.
Exactly.
And why do you guys think that happens? It always puzzled me because I'm like, you're famous, you're beautiful, you're charismatic, you're a great communicator. Why do you have a problem?
Self, like those things you're naming, you're famous, that's outside. You're beautiful. You know, it's outside, but it's the inside. It's the self-esteem. She still has the same self-esteem as a woman, like you said, that's trying to get her rent paid. Like she still has that same self-esteem, and I think that's why she moves the way she moves.
But when was she ever? I'm sorry to interrupt, but when was she ever a woman? Because you look at her life. You married a huge football player. You read the Cordell Stewart years. He was dropping $3 million for the wedding, $25,000 a dress. We know because Porsha gave us an itemized list. But you always dated men that took care of you, and you even married Cordell. So to me, I'm like, I don't understand where this scarcity mindset is coming from. Because when have you ever been without?
I think because, you know, she was bullied a lot when she was younger, she said. Like, people thought she was, like, ugly or something. They didn't like her big eyes, her this, her that. And so I think she still internalizes a lot of that. And then the trauma from her father locking her in the room and stuff, that comes up in a lot of her relationships. Like, the whole, like, you know, being locked in a room, like, in her head still. So I think she needs to work on that stuff. Yeah.
And I just want to mention this regarding R. Kelly, speaking of being locked in a room, right? And she painted herself as a victim of R. Kelly. But if you read the book, he never, and listen, I've done so many videos on my channel about R. Kelly, and I do believe his victims. I just don't believe Porsha was one of them. And she used the term victim on the Tamron Hall show. And I found that interesting because in the book, she said nobody told her to stay in the room. Like, when he put her in the room, he didn't lock the door, and nobody told her stay here. Nobody actually said those words to her. So it's her mind and her upbringing regarding her father that told her to stay in the room, but he never told her to stay in the room. And I feel a way about her calling herself a victim of R. Kelly. To be honest with you guys. Shout out to, go ahead, Tisa.
No, go ahead. I'm sorry to interrupt.
Okay, Queen said, thank you for the super chat, Queen. She said, once the marriage certificate is signed, watch Porsha change into her real character. I'm here for the entertainment and tears. Girl, who you want to see cry, Queen? Whose tears you want to see? Whose tears you want to see?
Porsha's going to be looking into a light bulb. You know, the funny thing with the R. Kelly stuff, to your point, and we all read those chapters, not only did she used victim on Tamara Hall, but I thought it was curious that she kept referring to him as Robert, said that she was his girlfriend in a dysfunctional relationship, and also said, yes, she was free to leave, but they were planning a baby. And it had me roll my mind back to the father locking in, because when I first read it, I was like, oh my God, this is Silence of the Lambs. Like, somebody called Child Social Services. And not to take away from the pain, but then I had my girlfriend read that chapter, and she was like, it sounds like she was in timeout. So
Girlfriend, I don't want to laugh. Oh my God. I don't want to laugh.
Timeout traumatized her. Yeah.
I'm gonna move on, okay? So thank you. The Naked Truth by Annette's Worldviews. So hello, ladies. Simon, tell me what his I appreciate the super chat, but tell me where the nationality plays a part. She said, Simon is a Nigerian hot air scammer. Nice to see Falynn interview too. Men with real money don't brag on social media. That's true. That's true. And I feel like they don't go on TV either. You know what I mean? They don't need the popularity. Like, if you have the money, you don't need the fame. You don't need the influence. You don't need all that, especially as a man. I don't.
That's your cute little hobby that he's like, that's cute. But otherwise than that, he doesn't want to step into your son because he has his own son. You know, people said that one of the things Porsha had issues with over the years, also relationships, and she touched on it in the book a little bit, about how it was hard for her to get people to film with her. To your point, people that had means and businessmen, they were like, oh no, right? Other people, maybe they weren't like suitable. Porsha never really wanted, like, you know, a guy that's doing good, but maybe like comfortably middle class. She wanted somebody that was super, super wealthy. So in a weird way, she kind of felt like she got like a jackpot with Simon, where she thought she had somebody fabulously wealthy that wanted to film and would publicize and how what. But to you guys' point, yeah, it didn't work out like that because it didn't make sense. So
yeah, she did say that in the book. She said at a certain point she came to the conclusion that whoever she's dating, if they don't film with her, then she's not, you know, she's not really dating them. She's not taking it serious because they have to accept her whole life, which I do understand. I do understand her from that point of view. But you guys, so the episode ended with the dinner, and you see the family kind of going against each other. You see little Porsha Storm, you know, kind of standing up like she gonna fight Lonnie. She's standing up at the table. Right, and I'm like, what you gonna do? What you gonna do? What you gonna do?
She looks so good though. Her body. Oh my gosh, she looks so good.
Her body looks great, but even that shirt, it looked great on. But girl, you ain't fighting anybody with that shirt on. Like, you're not even dressed for anything. Like, stop it. Yeah, and Lottie, her reaction, she acted like a gnat was buzzing around her. She didn't even get angry. She was just like, "Girl, sit down." So,
is she from the quote unquote country bumpkin side? Oh, okay.
So what are you guys looking forward to next episode?
That's a good question. Nothing jumped out to me in the preview, I don't think.
Next episode?
Oh, the woman coming. I want to see the woman come. Yeah.
Who is it? I want to see, honestly, how many episodes there are. Because the way they played it, you know, I'm new to the reality TV game, but it didn't seem like the last episode. Did it?
No. And Porsha on her Instagram, her in a green screen, and she was like, she's recording green screens while the show is still on, and I guess she was saying she got something to say. So on IMDb, the website that gives you all the information about the shows, it said 4 episodes, but they didn't promote this next episode, which is the 4th episode. They didn't promote it as the finale. So it's more than 4. It might be 8. I've heard rumbling said it's 8. I definitely want to see who Simon brought. It's not the woman he posted on his Instagram, because he posted a woman. But it was not the woman who came to Mexico. So I'm definitely looking forward to the next episode. You guys, next week we'll be on Grace Reports channel. Like I said, this is a rotating panel. I just want to make sure we got all the super chats. Hold on, we got one more. This is a rotating panel. So every week we're on each other's channel, and there are links to Tisa's channel, Grace's channel, and Adam's channel in the description box. Queen said, exactly. Why will a successful man want to be on a reality TV show? Simon and his one printer.
One printer.
Okay. It's my princess. Thank you, ladies, for joining me. Adam, if you watch the playback, thank you for joining me as well. I definitely appreciate you participating in this panel. And thank you,
Wait,
Tisa.
you got one more super chat.
Okay.
Oh, you got one from Light Mission.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, thank you, Light Mission 23. Thank you for the super chat. They said, after this episode, I want a Versace robe. They're hot. They're hot because they're terry cloth, so they're very hot. I had to take mine off. But yeah. And you know what? I do want to also point out, at one point, Dennis said, he was like, Portia's getting mad because she really think I came, to get my Versace robe. But I came because it's important. In another scene, he said he came because his mother is there. So Dennis did say he did not come to get his Versace robe. It's not that serious.
Mm-hmm.
I'll see you next Monday, 12:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Thank you for watching.
Thank you so much, Layla. Thank you, Grace. And bye, Adam, if you're watching playback.